Faith Hedgepeth was just 19 years old, a bright and determined college student at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. She was a member of the Haliwa-Saponi Native American tribe, the first in her family to go to college, and she dreamed of becoming a pediatrician. By all accounts, she was a hard worker and a caring friend, someone who wanted to make her community proud. But on the morning of September 7, 2012, her promising future came to a sudden and violent end. That night, Faith and her roommate, Karina Rosario, had gone out to a popular nightclub in downtown Chapel Hill called The Thrill. Surveillance footage confirmed they returned home around 12:06 a.m. They lived in the Hawthorne at the View Apartments, just a short drive away. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. At some point, Faith was on her phone, texting friends and checking in with people she knew. At 3 a.m., Rosario left the apartment, saying she thought Faith was asleep in her room. Neighbors later recalled hearing 3 loud thumps, like something heavy falling, sometime after Rosario left. No one knew it then, but those noises may have been the sounds of Faith being attacked. Hours passed. At 11 a.m. that morning, Rosario returned to the apartment with a friend. When they entered, they discovered a horrific scene. Faith was lying on the floor, covered in blood. She had been beaten to death. An autopsy later revealed extensive skull fractures and blunt force injuries to her head, along with cuts and bruises that showed she fought back desperately. There were also signs she had been sexually assaulted. Next to her body was a white paper bag, torn and scribbled on in black ink. The words on it read, "I'm not stupid, bitch, jealous." Investigators have long believed this note came from the killer, written in a hurried, disguised hand, possibly with the non-dominant hand to throw police off. The 911 call that Rosario made, or possibly her friend, depending on reports, has since fueled speculation. The call lasted nearly 8 minutes, but the caller never once mentioned Faith's name. Instead, she only referred to her as "my friend." The caller also refused to go near Faith's body, despite the dispatcher urging her multiple times to check for signs of life. To many listening later, the call sounded strange, detached, and even rehearsed. It added another layer of mystery to an already unsettling case. One of the most chilling pieces of potential evidence was a voicemail from Faith's own phone. Around 1:23 a.m., she appears to have accidentally pocket-dialed someone, and the recording captured 3 minutes of muffled voices. Forensic experts who reviewed it believe it contains disturbing snippets. Someone saying, "She's dying," and another voice responding, "Do it anyhow." Names like Eric and Rosie can be faintly heard. While police have publicly downplayed the reliability of the timestamp, Faith's father and private investigators strongly believe the call captured part of the assault, or, at the very least, the people who were with her that night. Investigators quickly gathered DNA evidence at the scene, including semen that confirmed Faith had been sexually assaulted. They tested hundreds of men in the Chapel Hill area, narrowing their focus on people within Faith's circle. Detectives said early on that they believed her killer was someone she knew. They interviewed more than 2,000 people and collected 750 DNA samples. Still, no one matched. For years, the case remained shrouded in secrecy. Police sealed the case files, reauthorizing the seal every 45 to 60 days for 2 years, which sparked frustration from the media and the community. Eventually, in 2014, a judge ordered many of the records unsealed. Among them were search warrants, Rosario's text messages from that night, and the disturbing details of the crime scene and autopsy. But still, no arrests. In 2016, investigators tried something new. They released a composite sketch created using DNA phenotyping, a groundbreaking technology at the time. The image suggested that the suspect was of mixed ancestry, possibly Native American, Latino, and European, with black hair and olive-toned skin. It was an eerie, lifelike face generated purely from genetic markers. While it gave hope, no one stepped forward to identify the man. For 9 long years, the case haunted Chapel Hill and Faith's family. Then, in September 2021, a breakthrough finally came. DNA from the crime scene was matched to a man named Miguel Enrique Salguero Olivares, a 28-year-old living nearby at the time of Faith's death. His genetic profile was consistent with the DNA phenotyping released years earlier. Police arrested him and charged him with first-degree murder. The news stunned many, as Salguero Olivares was not widely known to Faith's circle. Yet his DNA provided a definitive connection to the crime. As of now, his case is still moving through the courts, and the full story of why Faith was targeted and what exactly happened that night may still come to light during trial. For Faith's family, the arrest was a bittersweet moment. It brought them closer to answers after nearly a decade of waiting, but it also reopened the wounds of losing a daughter who had so much ahead of her. Faith Hedgepeth's murder is one of the most tragic and haunting cases to emerge from a college campus in recent memory. A story of a bright life cut short, an investigation that tested the patience of an entire community, and a fight for justice that is still unfolding.